Hey everybody, it's Mike here with some Excel tricks for you. Today we're going to talk about a choose statement. And this is not too common in Excel, but it really should be, in my opinion. It's very, very useful. I use it a lot for a lot of my financial information. So I'll give an example here. This is the most common example I can think of. You can use it for a lot of different things. So here's what we're going to do. So a choose function, what a choose does is it basically gives you, it's I don't want to say it's like a VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP pulls back something based upon a selected number, like you saw in my last videos. Like it's pulling the third column over, it's pulling the fourth column, but this choose can choose any number you want, and it's very, very simple. It can pull any column you want, or you can pull more than one column and add them together. You could do a lot of different things. You could subtract them. So it's actually more powerful than a VLOOKUP. But I'll show you how it's written. So there's definitely pros and cons of doing VLOOKUPs and also chooses. So here, I'm going to give you an example here. So if we wanted to pull, so right here I have some sample names, sample salaries. We'll say this is how much they're making. They're not making too much here. So right now, let's say, so I calculated the full year, obviously just a sum formula for the first 12 months. But now let's say right now it's the month. So right here I have month. So let's say it's month 3 right now. Okay, so right now we're in March. And if I wanted this year-to-date formula to be, okay, most of you would just do this to say, okay, equals sum, and then the first 3 months, and you would copy down. Am I right? So, yes, this is the right answer. However, problem with this is, let's say next month you open this file and say, okay, it's number 4 now. It's the 4th month. This formula does not update, of course. But with my new choose formula that you're about to learn now, this will update automatically. Because how many times, I'm sure, it's happened to myself. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you that you're going through and, oh, you're going too fast, and oh, you forgot to update the year to date. So it's still showing period 3, even though it's showing that period 4 here. So you want to, so again, like I said before, the lazier you can be, the better off you will be. Have Excel work harder for you, so you don't have to work harder. All right. So here's what we're going to do here. We are going to do a choose formula instead of this. So we're going to do equals choose and then open parentheses. And the way this is written is saying, okay, what's the index number? So what's the number you want to choose? Do you want, in this example, it would be your month. It would be your 1 through 12. So we're going to choose 4 here. And just for this example, I'm going to change this back to a 1. I just wanted to, and then I'll move it around later. So equals choose. So we're going to choose this 1. And we're going to lock that. So I put the dollar signs around that, so you want the dollar signs around the B2. So I have that in one of my other videos. If you haven't checked out my locking and unlocking video, please make sure you check that out. A lot of formulas are built off of that. So in order how to lock it, you can either input dollar signs or just hit F4 on your keyboard. Okay, so that's my index number. And now it's going to say, okay, now it's looking for, so after I hit comma, value 1, value 2, value 3, and you can go, I think, as far as you want. Most I've ever used is probably like 30 of these. So you shouldn't need more than that. So value 1 saying, okay, now it's coming back and saying, if this value that we put in as the month is equal to 1, what do you want to show as this year to date? Well, if it's equal to 1, I only want to show January. So just show January. And now you hit comma. Now it says, okay, what do you want if it's going to be value 2? Okay, now if it's equal to value 2, I would want it to be the sum of January and February, because that's what my year-to-date would be if it's really February. And then comma, if it's value 3, I'll sum and go through March, and then I'll sum, and yes, I'm sure you know what the formulas are going to be now. So it gets kind of redundant, but it's useful, very useful. You only do this once instead of changing this in the future for every single time you go through monthly change in your calculations, in spreadsheets, and this is a guaranteed less human interaction, the less chance for error you are. So I guess I might as well finish this off. So I'm going to go all the way out through period 12 for you guys, just so you can see how nice this works. And to show you that 12 will work, because it's the most common function that I use when I'm looking at monthly figures and when I calculate year to date and quarter to date. So this is now finished. So I used all these little values here. So now you can see I'm on value 12. I'm on December, so that's good. If I was on value 11 and I was in December, I'd be a little worried and be like, oh, I missed a month, or value 13, I added too many or something weird. So now I hit enter, and I missed parentheses. Okay, I'll let it add it for me. All right, and there's your 10. So I'm gonna delete this just because we're not using it anymore. So there's my scary, scary formula, right, everybody? 2 lines long. All right. Some of you, this is probably going to be your first 2-liner you ever looked at or ever wanted to. So right now, this is pulling a 10 for this month, and it's correct. So now, if I were to change this to, let's say, 2, it changed to 20 automatically. So how quick and easy was that? So that 20 is now the new year-to-date, which is right, and we can change it to anything we want. If we change it to 10, this will be 100 because it's taken the first 10 that we did. The way you look at this formula now is, so it's taking this B2, which is our month, and it's saying, okay, if it's value 1, I'm going to put a value 1. It's always the easiest to look at because it's right at the beginning of the formula. So if this is a 1, then look at value 1. It doesn't care at all. It's not even going to look at the rest of this because it says, hey, I'm only going to look at this value 1, which is right here. Value 1. That's all it cares about. So essentially for this example, I mean, realistically, the rest of this could be gone because it already knows value 1. So don't get confused when you see all this other stuff. You're like, whoa, what's all this stuff doing? It's summing how many different times? It's some here, some there, some there. But it's only looking there as a reference just in case this number changes from 1 to 3 to 6 to whatever. So that is how this is done. So if I'm over here, I can click anywhere in here and it's okay. This is value 4. If this month was a 4, then this is the only thing it cares about. Then essentially Excel would not care about all of this before or all of this after. Essentially, pretend the formula is not even there. Okay? I know this looks kind of confusing, a little scary, but just trust me, it works great. And then I'll copy down. All right, and now these are all dynamic formulas. They'll all change, with the month. So very, very useful information there for you today. No more dragging it over, dragging your sum formula over from here this month, and okay, now we got to add an extra month. A lot of times you're gonna miss that. You're gonna miss it, and just because the less you can do with formulas in the manual, the more you can actually spend for analytics and be more efficient in your business. And now we're gonna look at quarter to date. So it's gonna be very similar. I'm not gonna do that all 12 months or whatever, but you'll get the hang of it. I'll get you started. So equals choose. We're gonna do the same thing. So if you did not do this, again, this would be your way. You would say equals sum. So if this is, let's just pretend this is period 2 right now. You would say period or equals sum, and then you'd say, Aaron, I want the first 2 months. Okay, so you get your 20. Or let's just make it a little harder and say, okay, let's say this is the 5th period. So we want this to be equal sum, because it's not in the beginning anymore. You don't want to sum all of this. All you want, because the way the quarters work is, this is 1 quarter, this is the 2nd quarter. So you'd want to sum these 2 periods here, so April and May. So let's sum that, so we get our 20. But again, hey, guess what? We change this to the 6th month now. Our nice choose updates automatically. We already know that this is updating for the 6th, but our quarter date, we still have it the old way. So let's change that real quick. So we're gonna have, basically it's gonna be 12 chooses again, the same way we did in the first one, except it's gonna be a different formula, and we're not gonna go through it all, because you know, you can get the grasp of it. You'll see the pattern. So my first choose, so again, my index number here, and I'll go through it in here if you want this time, instead of, you know, doing it the quicker way. I'll just do it through the Excel function wizard, the f of x. So my index number is this. I'll hit F4. Value 1 is going to be this, your January. Value 2 is going to be your sum of January and February. This should start to look familiar now. If it didn't, go back and watch 5 minutes ago. And then period 3. If it's March, we want all three of those. And then this is where you starting over. So if it's 4, then it's only going to be April, because quarter to date, you want it's just going to be April. And then you scroll down and then just keep going and going. And if it's period 5, it's going to be April plus May. And if it's 6, we want it to be sum of April, May, and June. And that's all I'll do for now. I'm not going to waste time doing the other 6, because that's all we have here is 6. So I'll copy my formula down. So now, no matter what I change this to up until 6, because that's all I did for the quarter, both of these formulas here will update. So these will all update. So if I change this to 2, these will go to 20, this will go to 20. Year to date and quarter to date will be the same for the first quarter. I'll change this to 4 now. This will be 4 months worth, and this is now 1 month worth, just April. So pretty nice formula. I think you'll agree with me here. This is very useful information. You know, use it all the time. Period 6. You know, this will be 30. And if you guys have any questions, you want to do something different, you want to see a different example, leave a comment, let me know. And I'm always willing to help you guys. All right, thanks. Goodbye.